alternate. I'm like, you are the alternate.
We'll call the November 19th Plan Commission meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Jason Carnahan.
Here.
Bill Hartman.
Here.
Bill Van Wy.
Present.
Sandy Harrison. Here. Jerry Yoder.
Here.
Jared Malcolm.
Here.
Suzanne Davis.
Here.
Angie Holt. Here. Tyler Lanning.
Here.
Alicia Rogers. Mike McCarowicz. Andrew Cruz.
Here.
Chris Gallmer.
Here.
Meredith Wright here.
Okay, we'll now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now have a moment if someone would like to lead us in a quick word of prayer.
Do we have any prayer requests? Now's a good time.
Speak your mind.
Let's bow our heads. Father, we know that in your word it says that where two or more are gathered, you will be here also, Lord. So we invite you into this Plan Commission meeting this evening, Lord, that we might make decisions that are for your glory and your kingdom and for the residents of DeKalb County, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray.
In your packets, you had the minutes from the previous meeting. If anybody got a chance, hopefully everybody got a chance to review them. If there's no corrections or additions, would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented. Second.
A motion and second to approve the previous meeting's minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same.
Abstain.
Minutes are approved. Same with the claims for the previous 3 months listed there in the packet. Same thing, if no additions or corrections, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Okay, claims are approved. Chris, no old business, correct?
Nothing.
New business, we have 2 items.
First thing in your packet is the Butler ETJ agreement. We currently have an extraterritorial jurisdiction with the city of Butler. That's been in their comprehensive plan for a number of years. The city of Butler just adopted last month, or maybe last couple weeks ago, their revised or rewritten comprehensive plan. And Indiana code requires, when a new comprehensive plan is written, for there to be an interlocal agreement or agreement between the municipality and the county in which it's in to have a actual written agreement. So that is what's before you today. The agreement is very similar to what has previously been approved with the city of Auburn that we've had for, gosh, before I've been here, so probably 20-some years. Recently with Garrett and Waterloo that have happened within the last 4 or 5 years. So this will be the third written interlocal agreement, or sorry, fourth written interlocal agreement that we have between a municipality. I'll quickly go through that for you all to see. This did go through Butler's Plan Commission. Gosh, Sandy, correct me what date that was. Last month, so October 16th or 17th.
16th.
On that Thursday, and got approval from, or recommendation of approval from their Plan Commission, and then went on to their city council and did get approved last week, I believe. So just waiting for our Plan Commission and our county commissioners to approve this. But with that, Section 2 for the zoning just, again, gives their, and basically what this is doing is just putting into a written form what they already do with their extraterritorial jurisdiction. For the zoning portion, basically gives over the county's jurisdiction to the city of Butler's. They have to maintain a comprehensive plan, designate what the zoning classifications are going to be within that area. They still have to go through drainage board with the county surveyor for any projects within the ETJ. They maintain floodplain management, wellhead protection, any excavation areas, and then sewer hookup. The one thing that's only different between the city of Butler and the other municipalities is that the city of Butler wanted to have the right to not require city sewer hookup, which makes sense. If it didn't make sense financially or didn't make sense for the city to run a line to the development, they can forego that and have septic systems. So they would have to meet whatever their zoning requirements are, but that is in that sewer hookup requirement. For subdivision control, gives them the power to approve any new subdivisions, so any new lots that are getting created, any new developments that would have a subdivision would get approved. Street standards are per the highway department that are in Exhibit B of this agreement. Those have all been reviewed and approved by the highway department, so there's no changes there. Would still have to go through the county surveyor or the drainage board for any drainage plans with the subdivision. Addressing would go through this county for new addresses, but it would be up to the city to require those. So things, again, that we're doing now that are just put in writing. For enforcement, they have the enforcement capabilities for their zoning in the extraterritorial jurisdiction, but it still gives the county the right for a public nuisance ordinance. So the public nuisance ordinance is basically for trash, disabled vehicles, that sort of thing. So anything within that ETJ, the county still has control over, but as far as zoning enforcement or compliance, they have the jurisdiction over that. The one thing that's changed as well is the maps that are in your packet. I believe it's in the very back 2 pages. There's the existing ETJ area, which basically ends at the southern border of Butler. And this has been in the talks between the city of Butler and our planning staff for 3 or 4 years. When the previous 2 city planners were in office, there was a request to have the extension of the ETJ. It never came into fruition, basically because they didn't have a comprehensive plan rewritten. So with this, they've requested the extension down to County Road 34, west to County Road 61, and east to County Road 71. That's on the last page of your document. The red outline shows that extension. Basically, the ETJ, as you guys all know, is for if development happens around the municipalities, it allows for that development to align with the city's planning and zoning. So if those areas would ever be annexed, there's not a lot of non-conforming structures, a lot of non-conforming uses, a lot of non-conforming lots. So having those be within their jurisdiction makes sense. And then I think aligning it south helps with their development potential to the south, if there would ever be any, kind of mirroring what is north of Butler. With that, that's the nitty gritty and dirty of it all. Again, we've had these similar agreements with the city of Auburn, Garrett, and Waterloo. There is an ETJ in Hamilton, but they exist based off of the existing Indiana code that doesn't require any interlocal agreement between the two municipalities. Happy to take any questions you have on that. we are looking for a recommendation to the county commissioners, and then this will go to the county commissioners in 3 weeks, I believe. 1, 2, 3, on the 8th.
I had a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Are there any notable differences from other interlocal agreements? I know you, or updates or improvements that have been made to this one versus the other ones?
No, just that sewer hookup is really the main thing that we changed, giving the city of Butler the ability to not require the city hookup,
It
or sewer
actually,
hookup.
it actually just gives them more flexibility,
Right.
doesn't it?
Right.
How does that impact then the people that are in the new expanded area of the ETJ? It's up to the city to decide then?
Well, that'd be for new development, so if,
Okay.
or if a city would, if the city sewer, and typically, from my understanding, Auburn is the only municipality that has sewer that extends outside of their jurisdiction. Butler, Garrett, and Waterloo, from my understanding, have all kind of have agreed that if they're going to extend sewer outside of their municipalities, they're gonna annex that as well. So that's probably what would happen with Butler, is if a development would come that would request city sewer, they would annex those properties into the city of Butler. But if a new sewer line would come, it just is in there that, that they have the flexibility to not require the connection.
Butler does extend a sewer line, I think, to SDI.
True, that's
So
true.
you wouldn't want necessarily everybody that's next to that sewer
Right.
line to have to hook up to it since it's there specifically for SDI.
For SDI, and they couldn't have annexed, they could have tried to annex SDI, but it would have been, well,
So I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if it might be because of that SDI leg, I don't know.
Why is it in the interlocal agreement? Why would it not be the other way around? Is that they can require people to do it versus opt
they
people
can
out,
require people to
or-
hook up. So the first, mostly all of that is require all new development, new construction of homes, blah, 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 within 300 feet of a gravity sewer to hook into that main municipal sewer. But then it's saying, if it doesn't make sense financially or feasibility-wise, or if they have a recently developed septic system that's in working order, we're not gonna require them to hook up. So it just gives that more of a
The
flexibility.
city would decide.
Correct.
Otherwise, the default would typically be for cities and towns that you have to hook up.
Right.
That's the norm, okay.
So it might help a homeowner not have to, if they just put in a new septic
Oh,
system,
for sure.
the city might grant them a waiver or something, I don't know.
Right.
And then they wouldn't have to pay for a hookup immediately.
Yeah, that would be my concern, that we're not putting additional things on people and additional.
I think this would actually
Through this
benefit
agreement.
people more, it has the option
Yes.
to benefit.
That was the intent of the
Okay.
It
wording.
doesn't
was
harm,
that-
it only benefits.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good question.
And the intention is for pretty much all of it to be zoned in their ag zoning.
Right, there's some properties that are zoned, industrial that'll switch to theirs. I wanna say the only property that did change, maybe a couple of them were the Malcolm Farm changed from like a rural estate to an agricultural, cause that'll never become residential. And there was a property, zoned from maybe like the school back to ag or vice versa.
Also ours.
Yeah, oh, that was also yours, that's right. So they're mirroring what our zoning is, and also within their future land use, mirroring what our future land use, except for those.
I think I had one other question. I think you answered all my other ones. The enforcement of the public nuisance ordinance by the county, can you explain, is that the county's desire, or is that just continuing the way that it's currently operating?
That's the way we've been operating in the other municipalities as well.
Okay.
And so, because a county code cannot extend outside of their municipal limits,
You mean like Butler cannot do their nuisance and other codes outside their city limits?
correct,
So the county, it's just saying.
County has to.
County rules,
I think they would
county
anyway.
enforcement.
right,
I think they would anyway, but that just makes it explicit.
right.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Well, I had one other question.
Go
So
for
this agreement is approximately 4 years. Is that
Right.
standard that we have with our other agreements, or, and are we up to date on all of our other ones?
I think we are due for Auburn's. So I believe the wording is that
Don't think so.
review with planning staff every 4 years or something. Let me find it.
So it may not necessarily come to the plan commission?
It might, right, it wouldn't necessarily come to plan commission unless there was some sort of major revision.
On page 7, under section 6.5.
Yeah. If the agreement's not revised, it shall remain in full force and effect until modified by the city and the county. So really, if there'd be anything major that would come and change the agreement, if the county decided, I don't know, just throwing this out, if the county ever decided, like, we're gonna switch our addressing standards to be like the cities and towns, because ours are opposite. Our odds are their evens on the side of the road, and our evens are their odds. Don't ask me how that happened, but it did. So if we would ever say, we're gonna change all that and make it all uniform, we would need to change.
Otherwise, it stays internal to your staff, and unless one of the parties wants to revisit it, then it stays.
Right. That's your last question.
I think it's my,
She can have mine.
Okay. I forfeit my time too.
Is there any more discussion amongst the board? Anybody in the audience that wishes to speak on this petition? Discussion, whatever. Seeing none, we'll close any public portion. And I guess since there's not really any findings.
No, I did publish it in the newspaper. It's not, so with an interlocal agreement, it's between the two county executives. We do bring it to the plan commission to get a recommendation for the county commissioners. Same thing with Butler. We took it to the Butler Plan Commission to get a recommendation for city council. So we would like a recommendation. I did publish it in the newspaper just so the public was aware of what was going on. During the Butler public hearing portion, they did send out letters to everyone affected within the extended ETJ, and had probably the first time Butler's ever had a full city council meeting.
Yep.
But their questions were more or less about, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were there and you were there too, but taxing, some zoning questions about what happens with their properties, the sewer hookup, are we gonna require them to hook up to sewer? Those are kind of the major questions, and as you guys know, your zoning is not, doesn't determine how your property is taxed or assessed. That's based off of the use of the property, so. Anything you guys want to add, being at the meeting as well? Commissioner Dooley and Jared were at the meeting.
Yeah, I just think a lot of the residents were concerned on how this would change their day-to-day lives or
Yeah.
whatever, but in the end, it's not really changing anything.
Yeah.
The county still handles almost everything. It's just permitting and zoning and that, but then even then, a lot of it still gets handed down to the county.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the septic and sewer thing, the number that the mayor used, it costs $1 million a mile to put in new sewer. So it would have to be pretty advantageous for them to get enough units to make that worth it. So I think that's why they don't want to do it.
If there's no more questions or discussion, we would entertain a motion for favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation to the commissioners.
Make a motion for favorable recommendation to the commissioners.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for a favorable recommendation. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Bill Hartman,
Yes.
Bill Van Wy,
Yes.
Sandy Harrison,
Yes?
Jerry Yoder,
Yes.
Suzanne Davis,
Yes.
Angie Holt,
yes.
Tyler Lanning,
Yes.
Jason Carnahan.
Yes.
Like I said, this go to, next, 3 Mondays, so, December 8th, yeah, so it won't become effective until then. But, we're reviewing that.
Was that also your Butler future land use discussion, or is that a separate discussion?
Oh, sorry, that should have been not Butler, just should have been future land use discussion.
I was like,
My bad.
That's fine, I was a little-
obviously did not review that carefully.
I was a little confused.
It's not her fault. It was probably written on the board wrong. So this will be, can I take it over?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So in your packets is so we're working on, as you know, the DeKalb 2040 comprehensive plan. I have a draft copy here that I've redlined and we're meeting tomorrow. It is not this thick. I just printed single-sided because I'm neurotic like that and don't like to look at things double-sided. But anyway, I wanted to review the future land use map with the Plan Commission, make sure that it is something that the steering committee has reviewed. We looked at it. Bill, you were at that meeting. It might have been 2 meetings ago that we reviewed the future land use map. But it's been reviewed again by my office. And then the draft land use classifications that are in your packet as well. I just wanted to see if there was anything glaring that you all thought may need revised. Opening up a document right now just so I can take a look. So we condensed so in our old future land use map, and I maybe should have printed this out for you all, we had 2 agricultural districts. One was just a plain agricultural and one was a mixed agricultural rural residential. We combined that into just one agricultural district. It just made sense to do that. Our zoning can dictate what should be conservation agricultural versus agricultural versus the land use map. The land use map should be more broad, I guess you should say, for what that should be. So that's the one thing that we did change. So kind of the 2 colors merged into one. And then the other thing that changed was the airport compatible use area. So the kind of the hatched area you see there surrounding the airport. Before, it was just kind of the immediate vicinity of the airport, over to County Road 39, over to County Road, looks like that's 19, south to 68, and north to 56. It didn't match what our airport compatible use area overlay district was, and I felt as though at least the future land use map should mirror what that airport compatible use area overlay is, because that area is not going to change. It's been approved by the FAA. Yes, I was going to say FFA, but that's a different group. The FAA, to get that revised and changed would be a whole undertaking, and I just don't think that's going to happen. The airport's grown, it's doing well, it's supported by the county. So I think having that include all of the area within our airport compatible use overlay district made the most sense. So yeah, I don't think, the one thing I think that they changed, which is odd to me, and we're meeting them tomorrow, and glad I'm looking at this, is the SDI area, looks like all of it went to agricultural, and that's, again, this is an error on their part, and I'll make sure that gets corrected. But the one thing that we did change was, if you all remember, there was a map that, I'm gonna get up and talk, so, sorry guys, who's listening? area that was, south here, there was a long corridor of industrial future land use. We took that out. As you guys may remember, we've rezoned 4 or 5 properties there from industrial to back to agricultural or residential to allow them to build single-family homes. The intent, I believe, when the comp plan was done in 2017, which again was a mirror of what we've done in the past, is that there would be kind of an industrial corridor down to SDI. Probably just not going to happen. I think that there might be small offshoots, and we can change zoning and look at that area if it does happen. But we just revised the map to include the current SDI properties, plus I believe this area here over to State Road 8 and County Road 51. So we kind of just made it that area being kind of the industrial area. It just didn't make sense to have those areas more residential. There's a lot of residences there in that property, in those properties that aren't. So I wanted to go over this with you all, see if there were any areas that you thought needed to be changed or included. There was a lot of discussion in the group about what happens around Auburn and Waterloo, so keeping that residential. St. Joe and their ETJ area has been updated. Obviously, this won't be updated, or this map or this plan won't be adopted until probably March or April. So in that time, we included the new potential Butler area, Butler ETJ. But I wanted to see if there was anything you guys saw as glaring changes that may need updated or revised, that may make sense. Currently in our future plan as well, or in our future land use plan, the classifications aren't defined well. So in your packet is the 8 classifications that we have. Having the description, kind of what the primary uses are, what could be secondary uses within that area, and then additional notes gives the Plan Commission flexibility in rezoning properties, right? So like, as you guys know, when we rezone properties, you should be mindful to what the future land use map is and what the comprehensive plan says, but the future land use map doesn't dictate you have to have these zones under this future land use map designation. But having these primary uses and secondary uses, and then the additional notes gives the flexibility to the Plan Commission to have additional backing when you make your recommendations to the county commissioners for rezones, even development plans, that sort of thing. So again, this has been reviewed. The draft is to the steering committee now. The future land use map and the future land use classifications have been reviewed already. I've made edits to them, but if you guys have anything that you want to see changed or what have you, be happy to take those back to the consultant. We are meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m., but also edits to this aren't due until, I believe, the first week of December. So
what's this, the agricultural land use, what's that gonna do for the Amish that are moving in that wanna have a home-based business that's not gonna be agricultural based? If they have a business, a small engine shop or something like that, where's that gonna fit into all this?
So that
Cultural area.
Yeah, so they would still follow the same laws that we have now. So if they're doing a small engine shop or what have you, they would still follow under our home-based business part of our zoning. But doesn't change the land use class, the future land use classification of the property, right? So like, it's still seen as.
Agricultural.
Correct. And then they're having that secondary use as the home-based business.
It just, it just states in here on this that it's includes agricultural areas, low-density attached, single-family dwellings on large lots, and agricultural-related businesses. Doesn't really state business other than agricultural.
Yeah, so again, that would be looked at in our home-based business section of our ordinance, which has the types of home-based businesses that would be permitted, and then they have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals to review that. I think we could add as a secondary use, add in there something about home-based businesses conforming to the UDO standards or something like that, which would probably make sense. But it's a good question.
Any more discussion on the new proposed future land use map?
I can make a comment. I guess I don't know what Chris thought, but the one, we talked about it in the meeting, but you have it at 69 and 68. It's all industrial.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, kind of a pipe dream if we end up with a off-ramp or whatever. But based on some of the housing in that area, I don't know that maybe those people would be real thrilled about that, but.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, because that was discussed at the meeting, I'm not sure why it was left. I've not talked to them since the edits came out. You got it, right?
Yeah.
So the draft came out. I've not talked to them about why that edit wasn't made. Maybe it was just a mistake on their end. But I think, and I need to talk to commissioners sometime about, and people from NDOT, we need to firm that up. Is an interchange at 72 or 68 gonna, is that reality? Is it coming in 10 years, or is it like, if we would need another one, here's where it would go? Because it wouldn't make sense to put this in our future land use map now if it's not happening for 20, 30, 40 years.
Right.
Right, so we need to figure out through either NDOT or, I don't know how much, I've never been part of a new interchange before, so I don't know if that's something the commissioners can dictate to NDOT, or is that something NDOT dictates to the county? But I think we need to have that discussion on if it's gonna happen, how far out is it? If it's just something that's never gonna happen, then take it off totally, or if it's gonna happen in the next 10 years, leave it on there.
Right.
But yeah.
But
I don't
also,
think it would be industrial. It'd probably be more commercial, and it would be way more condensed, because the intersections of well, Union Chapel and
Yeah.
Thinking of what Auburn is, State Road 8 and Auburn, and even 11A are going to be where commercial development's going to happen. Not going to.
right. So,
So yeah, we need to ask that question.
Well, unless it was something that wanted to be close to the airport, some sort of an industry that wanted.
but they're going to have, regulation on what kind of business can be by the airport too.
Yeah, and the airport, I mean, I'm sure you all have seen the signs that have been out by the airport promoting the area that they own, the lands that they own for commercial development. And it makes total sense that, I mean, I think that they're looking for more very low intensity warehousing style development, nothing that's going to cause large influx of traffic, that sort of thing. But I would see, I guess it'd be the chicken or the egg, who would get there first? If the interchange would happen, does the development happen at 11A, or does it happen at this new interchange first, to see where that where that happens, but I don't foresee it happening. Bill can talk to that at all, as to how soon that may or may not happen, or is it just a rumor that's been around for years that nobody really knows where it came from? So,
Yeah.
we'll bring that up. I think we discussed that it should probably change to residential, and even, discuss the whole 427 area becoming residential. Maybe they haven't updated anything since. But I wanted you all to take a look at this, get some insight before you all saw it, probably again in January or February, when it comes before you as a formal recommendation. You'll see it again here in February for the public meeting. You guys want to take that home and mull over it, look at it, provide me with some comments before 1st of December. And if you'd like me to send you the existing future land use map, I should email that to everybody. If you want to take a look at these and mark them up after the meeting, please feel free to. I'll pick them up before Drainage Board tomorrow.
Yes, that kind of ties right into our next item, which is the comprehensive plan update.
That was it. That's all right. I did get a draft copy. I've gone through and kind of redlined copies. We're going to be discussing the goals and objectives and priority projects tomorrow. Then kind of the month of December, they'll be updating and revising the plan for a public meeting draft. I believe, if you want to get me 2 seconds, I can find dates. I found it. So the draft, comments of the draft are due by Friday, December 5th. They hope to have a public draft by Friday, December 19th, a presentation on January 21st, and then the first round of those public draft comments are due by February 1st. And so then by the month, we'll probably have a public hearing in March for the comp plan to give recommendation to the county commissioners. It'll go to county commissioners probably March, whatever date that would be for county commissioners in March. So if you do have comments on future land use, I'd appreciate those by the 5th. I'll probably send you a little, or have Meredith send you a text the day before Thanksgiving that says, if you have comments, please remember to get those to Chris. But yeah, that's all I have.
Good. Do we have reports from city and town representatives?
Auburn had a lot. In October, the only thing they really had was, they're redoing the parking lot that's just south of 7th Street by Union Street, you know, where you kind of drive in through that little alley off of what would be 8th Street. They're going to pave that, they're going to put a permeable hard surface on that and mark the spots and everything. And that will be open to the public. Right now it's not, so it will be a public parking lot. after they do that. And then this month, they had, these got approved, the YMCA Early Learning Center is apparently buying the property that was Signature Construction that's on North Street. And they're gonna expand. They're gonna build another building, which is gonna be like 6,700 square feet, add 5 classrooms and a lot of outdoor area, additional parking. So I think Bob Kraft had said they had like a waiting list of like 200 kids or something like that. So this will take it down. This will let them have, I forget the number, what they said, because I don't remember numbers, but it'll put a lot more kids in. So that got approved. And then the East Auburn Estates, which is off of County Road 31 and between 31 and 46A, just south of Auburn Drive, that residential plan got approved for approximately 65 home sites. And that got annexed by the city, so they're putting in city streets. Everything will be to city standards, sidewalks, everything. So that got approved. And then, this got tabled. Fortify 11 Apartments is they're going to be building a phase 1 of apartments, but that got tabled till next month because they didn't have all the documents in that they needed, but they're going to be building apartment buildings there. And from the renderings that I saw in there, they look pretty nice. I don't know what the price is going to be, but since it's Fortify, I'm thinking it's going to be something reasonable. But they're going to end up putting in, that's on that curved road that's there between the Hicksville Bank and the dialysis center on 15th Street. Then they put that road that goes up to 7th Street. It's going to be in that area that got emptied out. It looked like it would be nice and necessary, as long as the prices are what people can afford. But a nice looking, very nice looking.
Butler had the meeting about their comprehensive plan and their interlocal agreement. They also had a public hearing on their ETJ. It was a full house. They had a lot of the people ask good questions, and between Chris and Andrew Provines, the answers were very informative, and people seemed to be satisfied with the answers. I think a lot of the people are okay with Andrew's answers and Chris's answers, but they're worried about the next people in charge coming on. They're like, well, we trust and believe you, but what about your predecessors? That's the problem. So I don't know, it's hard to tell people that it's in writing and you just have to believe what's in writing. So we'll see what happens, but it's moving on to the commissioner, so that's just where it's at. Hamilton had a meeting, and they're looking at subdivision control requirements and sign control ordinances. And Brent gave everyone copies of the ordinances, and they'll meet again in January. And that's where Hamilton's at, so. Butler and Hamilton.
No updates from Waterloo.
Ed?
No Ashley?
No.
Ashley?
Actually hasn't done anything in like 10 months.
I know, I think I have to get up there and talk to see. I haven't seen anything.
I think there should be a liaison from the board here to go to St. Joe's meetings they have. Tuesdays, I believe.
Do we have a St. Joe? I didn't think so. We've never done it.
That I'm aware of. So we can add that to the list come January. When do they meet, do you know?
Where?
When?
I think it's the second Tuesday of the month.
I can ask.
I think it's 6:30.
When they were here for the meeting, they asked about having a representative.
Yeah. They brought it up. Corona would like one too. When we met with them for the comp plan, their town board president asked if he could be on our plan commission. And while he can't be on our plan commission because he doesn't live in the county, I told him he could be a liaison or non-voting rep. So he might join next year, but we could add them to the list too if anyone wants to go to Coronas. I have to up my budget.
No kidding.
2 extra meetings.
Are there any comments from any public in attendance? Helen? Mike? If there's no other business, I believe we will be adjourned.